Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mold Tech Packaging,
Oh, yeah.
an Indian company that's making a lot of moves
Yeah.
in the world of packaging.
Packaging, yeah.
You might not think packaging is the most thrilling topic,
Right.
but just stick with us because this is a company with some really big ambitions.
Absolutely.
They want to be a major global player, and they're taking some interesting steps to get there.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is use their Q2 FY25 earnings call transcript to really break down their performance.
Yeah.
Look at their strategy and try to figure out if they can actually compete on that global stage.
So if you've never heard of Mold Tech Packaging before,
Right.
let's do like a real quick overview.
Yeah.
They're a big packaging company in India, and they've traditionally been really strong in paint packaging.
Yeah, they're the dominant player in that market, actually.
Yeah, they dominate that market. It makes up almost half their revenue.
Almost half. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a solid foundation.
Yeah.
But what's really got me interested is their expansion into pharma packaging.
Okay.
That's where the big growth is. And Mold Tech is really positioning themselves to take advantage of that.
And they're not afraid to spend some money to get there. They're investing heavily
Yeah.
in new technology, new facilities.
Absolutely. They're taking a risk.
Okay, so let's get into the Q2 results.
Yeah, let's dive in.
So overall, sales volume is up.
Uh-huh.
EBITDA is also up. That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Right.
But their PAT, their profit after tax, is down.
Yeah, interesting, right?
What's going on there?
So the growth is mainly coming from two places.
Mm-hmm.
Tin packs are doing well. They're up 5%, which is solid.
Yeah.
But then you've got these Q packs.
What are Q packs?
These are these really innovative containers.
Okay.
They can be used for food consumer goods, even pharmaceuticals.
Huh.
And those sales are up a whopping 35%.
35%. Yeah, it's huge.
Wow. So Q packs are definitely a big part of their growth strategy.
Absolutely. But if sales are up, EBITDA up, why is profit after tax down?
That's a really good question, and it kind of highlights one of the risks Mold Tech is taking.
Okay.
So that dip in PAT is mainly because of depreciation and interest payments,
Yeah.
which are both related to their recent investments.
Mm.
You know, they're putting a lot of money into new facilities and technologies,
Right.
and that's going to affect their profitability in the short term, at least.
So they're basically sacrificing short-term profits for the potential for some big long-term growth.
They're playing the long game.
It's risky,
They,
but it could really pay off if those investments work out.
no doubt.
Now let's talk about the paint segment a little more.
Okay.
You mentioned they're like the dominant player there. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure.
Especially their relationship with this company, Aditya Birla Group.
ABG.
Yeah, ABG.
They're super important to Mold Tech's success in the paint market.
Okay.
Mold Tech is actually expanding their capacity like crazy to keep up with ABG's demand.
Oh.
And get this, they're actually having to supply ABG from a different plant right now
Why?
because their new facility in Mahad is facing some delays.
Oh, what's causing the delays?
Sounds like some local pollution concerns that have held things up.
Oh.
Pretty common problem these days.
Mhm.
Companies try to increase production and then construction projects face all kinds of roadblocks.
Yeah, especially after the pandemic, things have been a little tougher.
Exactly.
It just goes to show, even when you're a big player like Mold Tech,
Yeah.
you can still get hit by these unexpected external factors.
Yeah, you got to be flexible these days.
But it sounds like they're adapting and finding ways to meet that demand from ABG.
They are.
Okay, so let's move on to the pharma segment now.
Yeah, this is where it gets exciting.
It seems like they're just starting to get into it,
They are.
but they're already making some noise.
Yeah, last quarter they reported like just 1 crore rupees in sales from pharma,
Okay.
which is tiny compared to their overall revenue. But here's the thing. Just in October alone, they've already hit 75 lakhs rupees.
Wow.
That's almost 3/4 of what they did in the whole previous quarter.
Okay, I'm starting to see why you're so excited about this.
Right.
That's serious growth, but what makes them think they can actually make it in the pharma market?
Yeah,
It's a tough industry with some really big established players already.
absolutely.
So what's their secret weapon?
Well, one thing they've got going for them is their expertise in IML technology.
Email technology.
Yeah, it stands for in-mold labeling.
Okay.
And it's really in high demand for pharma packaging. It gives you a lot of advantages in terms of quality, durability, branding.
So they're not just offering like basic packaging, they've got something special.
Exactly.
Okay, but how are they actually going to scale up to compete with these big giants?
Right.
Even with this rapid growth, they're still a pretty small player in pharma overall.
They are, but their strategy seems to be built on speed and agility. They're known for being able to develop new products really quickly,
Right,
which is key in pharma because there's always something new coming out,
right.
and they've already gotten approvals from some big pharma companies like Mark Sands Pharma and MSN Labs.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a big vote of confidence.
So they're moving fast and they're building those important relationships.
Exactly.
But I'm sure it's not all easy. What are some of the challenges they're facing in this segment?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is capacity in there. They're actually facing production constraints
Okay.
because they haven't been able to expand their printing capacity fast enough to keep up with demand.
Ah,
They're working on it,
right.
but it's a race against time. And of course, they've got to deal with intense competition, not just in pharma, but in all their segments.
So they've got a lot on their plate trying to balance this fast growth with capacity issues and a ton of competition.
They do.
It's a tough spot to be in before we dig into the specifics of their finances and how they're
Yeah.
managing all this. I just want to step back for a second and ask you straight up, do you think they can actually pull this off? Can they actually become a major player on the global stage?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
They definitely have the ambition, they've got the technology, and they're not afraid to take risks,
Right.
but there are some serious challenges. And whether they can overcome them well, that remains to be seen.
Okay, so to get a better idea, let's dive deeper into those financials, break down the revenue by segment, and see if we can get a clearer picture of what their future looks like.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dig into the numbers a little more.
Yeah, let's get our hands dirty.
Before we took a break, you were about to break down Moldtech's revenue by segment.
Right, right.
Right.
So, as we said earlier, paint is still their biggest moneymaker. About 47% of their revenue this past quarter came from paint.
Mm-hmm.
Lubricants came in second at 20%.
Yeah.
And then food and Q-Packs combined brought in about 32.4%. Pharma, as we've been talking about, is still pretty small, only 0.5% of their revenue.
So even with all that impressive growth, pharma is still a relatively small part of their overall business.
Yeah, for now.
But you seem to think it could be huge for them in the future.
I do. I really do.
What makes you so confident?
Well, aside from the crazy growth we talked about, there are a couple things that really stand out to me.
Okay.
First off, they've managed to get approvals from some major players in the pharma industry.
Okay.
And that tells me they're making high-quality packaging that can meet the really strict requirements of that sector.
So they're building a good reputation in pharma.
Exactly. And second, they're not just sitting back and relaxing. They're actively investing in developing new products specifically for their pharma clients.
Okay.
In fact, during the earnings call, Jay Lakshmana Rao, who's Moldtech's chairman, mentioned that they're already working on new products and even committing production capacity based on agreements they have with certain pharma companies.
Oh.
So that shows a lot of confidence in their ability to win and fulfill those bigger orders down the line.
Yeah, they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, they're serious about this.
It's a bold move, especially considering they're still dealing with those production constraints.
Right, and that's a legitimate concern if they can't increase production fast enough.
Yeah.
They might miss out on some of those big growth opportunities, not just in pharma, but in their other segments too. And speaking of which, we can't forget about their core businesses, paint and lubricants.
Yeah.
They're facing some tough competition there, especially in the more basic segments where things aren't as specialized.
Right. How are they planning to stay ahead of the game with all that competition?
Well, they're using a two-pronged approach.
Okay.
First, they're focusing on the higher value segments, where they have a clear advantage like with IML technology in paint packaging
Okay.
that lets them charge higher prices and stand out from the crowd.
Makes sense.
And secondly, they're investing a ton of money in automation and robotics to make things more efficient and cut costs in the long run.
So the classic combo of innovation and efficiency make better products and make them more cheaply. But those investments in automation cost a lot of money upfront.
No way.
How are they managing that financially, especially with their profits already down because of those capacity expansion projects?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Their gross margin, which basically tells you how profitable their production is, has actually gone up to 86 rupees per kilogram.
Wow.
That's a big jump. And it suggests they're getting better at controlling costs and pricing their products the right way.
So even with those investments, they're actually becoming more profitable on each unit they produce.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
But is it sustainable? I mean, those investments in automation and expansion are going to keep hurting their bottom line for a while.
That's the million-dollar question.
Huh.
It all comes down to how quickly those investments start paying off. If they can boost production get those new facilities up and running and really use that automation to their advantage,
Yeah.
they could see a huge improvement in their efficiency and profitability down the line.
So it's a race against time.
Yeah,
They need to execute their plans fast and well if they want to keep this momentum going.
absolutely.
But we can't forget about the competition. They're not the only ones trying to innovate and grow.
Right.
What are their competitors up to, and how does Mold Tech measure up?
That's a great question, and one we should definitely explore further in the paint segment.
Yeah.
They're obviously competing with other big packaging suppliers.
Right.
But they also have this unique relationship with ABG. Remember, they rely heavily on ABG for a big chunk of their paint revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be risky if ABG decides to work with other suppliers or if their own growth slows down.
So they're in a delicate position.
Yeah.
They need to keep ABG happy, but also make sure they're not too dependent on them.
Exactly. And in the pharma segment, they're going up against companies with tons of resources and a global reach.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Moldtech's strategy of speed and agility can really compete with those giants.
It's a classic David and Goliath story.
Yeah,
Mold Tech is the underdog, but they've got some clever tricks up their sleeve.
they do.
But as we've been discussing, there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to their future success.
A lot ifs and buts.
Before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to that question from earlier. Can they really become a major player in the global packaging market? What do you think based on what we've learned today?
I think they have the potential, but it's going to be a long and tough road ahead.
Yeah.
They'll need to overcome those production limits,
Yeah.
outmaneuver the competition, and execute their plans perfectly.
It's a tall order.
It is, but if they can pull it off.
It would be an amazing story of Indian companies starting small and rising up to challenge the global giants.
Yeah, it would be incredible.
It's a story that's still unfolding, and we'll be watching closely to see what happens next.
Me too.
So keep an eye on Mold Tech packaging, everyone. They just might surprise us all.
I wouldn't bet against them.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about their financial performance and their big growth plans.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But there's another factor that could be really important to their success: sustainability.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Consumers are really starting to demand eco-friendly packaging. And companies that can provide that are going to have a serious edge.
No doubt about it.
So where does Mold Tech stand on this whole sustainability thing?
Well, this is an area where they could really stand out.
Okay.
They're already using recycled materials in some of their products, and they're looking into new sustainable solutions. During the earnings call, Rao actually highlighted their efforts to cut down on plastic and create more environmentally friendly packaging options.
So they're not just talking about sustainability.
Right.
They're actually doing something about it.
They're walking the walk.
That's great for the planet, and it could be great for their business, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think this focus on sustainability could give them a real advantage?
I do.
Especially as they try to expand globally.
Especially globally. You know, consumers in developed markets like Europe and North America are willing to pay more for sustainable products. If Mold Tech can become known as a leader in eco-friendly packaging,
Right.
it could open up all sorts of new markets and attract customers who really care about the environment.
It's like adding a whole new weapon to their arsenal,
Exactly.
one that could be super effective on the global stage.
Yeah, no doubt.
But, of course, becoming a major player in the global market takes more than just having great products.
Right.
They'll need to ramp up production, streamline their logistics, maybe even think about acquiring other companies to expand their reach.
Yeah, those are all important factors.
And they'll need to attract and keep the best talent, not just in India, but all over the world.
Absolutely.
Building a strong global team with the right expertise and cultural understanding is going to be crucial for navigating all the different markets out there.
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge.
It is.
But Mold Tech seems ready to take it on.
They do?
They've got the ambition, the technology, the focus on sustainability, and a growing list of successes.
Yeah, they're a company to watch.
The next few years are going to be critical for them.
They are.
We'll be watching to see if they can overcome those production hurdles, outsmart their competitors, and take advantage of all those growth opportunities.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see what happens.
It's a story that's still being written, and we're all excited to see how it unfolds.
Me too.
So everyone keep an eye on Mold Tech packaging. They just might surprise us all.
It just might.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive into Mold Tech packaging.
Another one down.
We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of packaging, innovation, strategic growth, and the drive to become a global player.
It's been a fun one.
We covered a lot of ground today, and hopefully you've come away with a deeper understanding of this interesting company and all the factors that are shaping the packaging industry. So until next time, Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning.
And keep an eye on Moldtech packaging. You never know what they'll do next.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about their financials and, these ambitious plans for growth.
Wow.
But there's another piece of the puzzle here that could be really important for their success, and that's sustainability.
Sustainability. Yeah, that's a hot topic these days.
It really is. Consumers are really starting to demand eco-friendly packaging.
Oh, absolutely.
And companies that can deliver that are going to have a real competitive edge.
No doubt about it.
So where does Moldtech stand when it comes to sustainability?
Well, this is an area where I think they could really shine.
Okay.
They're already incorporating recycled materials into some of their products,
Uh-huh.
and they're exploring new sustainable solutions. They're not just talking the talk.
Right.
They're actually trying to walk the walk.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah. During the earnings call, Rao actually talked about how they're working to reduce plastic consumption and develop more environmentally friendly packaging options.
So they're making a real effort to make their products more eco-friendly.
Yeah,
That's good news for the planet, and it could be good news for their business, too.
definitely.
Do you think this focus on sustainability could give them a real edge?
I think so, especially as they try to expand globally.
Okay.
Consumers in developed markets, especially places like Europe and North America, are willing to pay more for products that are sustainable.
Right.
If Moldtech can position themselves as a leader in this eco-friendly packaging space,
Yeah.
it could really open doors to new markets and attract those customers who are making conscious choices about the environment.
It's like they're adding another tool to their toolbox.
Exactly.
One that's going to be super effective on that global stage.
For sure.
But becoming a big player globally takes more than just having great products, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They need to be able to produce enough, streamline their logistics, maybe even consider acquiring other companies to expand their reach.
Right. All those things are part of the equation.
And they can't forget about talent. They need to attract and retain the best people.
Absolutely.
Not just in India, but all over the world.
Globally. Yeah.
Building a strong global team with the right mix of skills and cultural understanding is going to be really important for navigating the complexities of different markets.
Yeah, that's a key ingredient for success.
It's a huge challenge.
It is.
But Moldtech seems ready to tackle it head on.
They do?
They have the ambition, the technology, the sustainability focus, and a growing track record of success.
Yep, they've got a lot going for them.
The next few years are going to be really interesting for them.
Yeah, make or break time.
We'll be watching to see if they can overcome those production challenges, outmaneuver their competitors, and really capitalize on those growth opportunities.
It's going to be a fascinating ride.
It really is a story that's still being written,
Definitely.
and we're all eager to see what the next chapter holds. So everyone, keep an eye on Moldtech packaging. They just might surprise us all.
I have a feeling they will.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Moldtech packaging.
Another one in the books.
We hope you enjoyed this look into the world of packaging innovation, strategic growth, and the quest to become a global player.
Thanks for joining us.
We've covered a lot today, and hopefully you've learned something new about this really interesting company and the forces that are shaping the packaging industry as a whole.
It's a dynamic industry, that's for sure.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep learning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you then.